I kind of like. Yeah. Yeah. No, we're just keeping on going.
It is not. No. I thought maybe it was yours.
No, I think it's just.
Yeah. Pretty cool. See what they.
Tina's there.
Yes.
This.
Oh.
Hey.
Hey, Lisa. We're gonna do the first song first. Oh, you guys are here?
Perfect.
Remember this one. One of them. All over here together. Charlie, one over
Over there.
Ah. All right, this is our entire elementary, kindergarten to grade 7. Well, I would say about 6 weeks ago or so, we got an offer from a retired teacher, who was a music teacher. She said, we should start an elementary choir. Yeah, sure, why not? And we thought, well, we'll try a few songs and see how we like it. We'll see how we can learn to sing together. They've come a long ways in a short time. Our music teacher is out of town, so we're just going to sing a cappella. Move you over a little bit. Move you over a little bit so everybody can see this. This is the first time that we have tried to do a song that is in 2 parts. So we're hoping everybody brings their energy down because you need to be able to hear each other, right? That's the important thing about singing together. The song is called The Captain's Mate. And we have been singing it for about a week. So yeah. Ready to start?
Yes.
See all the captain's mate and mine, and there's nowhere I would rather be than by my captain's side. Oh, the sun is bright and the wind is just right, and the sails are hoisted high. Sailing in a ship is I want to see, for the captain's mate and I, and my, yes, the captain's mate and mine. Working in the wind and the salty spread, for the sailor's life is fine. And I hope I live to see the day when a ship like this is mine. For set my sights on the captain's ship, but and shine. Sailing in a ship is what I want to stay, for the captain's mate am I, and I is the captain's mate am I.
Have a second song with a dance number. Okay, find your partner. You come over here. Get you over here.
Yeah.
We're short one person I have to dance. Okay. I think we can get, Cece, can you move over a bit more? Nope, that way, Cece, that way. Over a little bit more, and then you guys can get to the other side. You don't want to be stepping over the court, right? So you need to pick one side or the other. Who's your partner? Great, so you want to be on one side or the other. We want to make sure, look, where are you going? There you go, there, Jackson, right here. Oh, right here with your partner. Okay.
Yep, I'm your partner.
Kyla,
Okay, I know.
all right, you ready, Kyla? We're gonna be way over here. Where does it come? Supply vocals.
Yep, that's enough.
All those things you guys, not really into dancing. Okay, are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Dance with me, but my hands are you. With your feet you tap, tap, tap. With your hands you tap, tap, tap. Right foot first, left foot then. Put out and back again. Frog, come and dance with me. Both my hands I give you. Right foot first, left foot then. Around the back and back again. Rock your feet to neck, neck, neck. With your fingers click, click, click. Right foot first, left foot then. Round about and back again. Rock and dance with me. Both my hands are in. Right foot first, left foot then. Around about and back again.
Good job, guys. That was really good. Our very first.
Excellent. Well, thanks. Congratulations.
Don't step on that.
Thank you. Careful on the cord there. Great. Yes, there's a great too. Does that screen go forward? Oh, Margaret, do you want me to sit around here? Maybe. And we, well,
Absolutely.
I can
That's
see
fine.
Juliet now, and I don't see Andy. So I just need Juliet.
Is this meeting okay though, where you can see everybody equally?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. But if you wish, we could bring everything closer.
You want to miss
Up to you guys.
No, I think it'll be okay.
Oh, we are broadcasting.
Oh, thank you.
We are broadcasting, by the way.
Mostly your people that you need to introduce, not mine.
Well, I want to see the kids. I just didn't know if you could also the camera.
You got it?
Their heads.
Oh.
You can hear them.
I didn't know, so I couldn't.
They can hear them.
Yeah, we go. Which I'm trying to hear.
Oh,
We are like. Yeah, sorry, the TV is fixed.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
and we're broadcasting to the world right now. We're broadcasting to the world right now.
I don't know, are we on
Yes.
yet? Wait.
We work for the kids.
Okay, perfect. Well, then, good evening, everyone, and those that have stayed with us behind us.
Welcome to the May 27th, 2026 Public Board Meeting for Coast Mountain School District. I'd like to start by acknowledging with respect the lands on which we live, work, play, and learn as the traditional and unceded territories of the Gitxsan, Haisla, Nisga'a, and Tsimshian peoples. We're honored to work with their children and privileged to live on these lands. Today, we're gathered in Stewart, plus coming in online, and we acknowledge that we are gathered for our meeting here in Stewart on the Nisga'a Nation. I welcome you all. We are on our YouTube channel as well, and so we are being live streamed for this meeting. And since our last board meeting, our district has continued to focus on student learning, well-being, and community connection. It's a busy time in spring as we go through many activities in athletics, arts, cultural, outdoor learning, year-end celebrations, student voice, and continue the strong work that we're doing in our schools and the successes of our students. During the month of May, we celebrated National Teacher Appreciation Week and National Teacher Appreciation Day. And certainly trustees express appreciation for our educators and the dedications of all of our staff to our students and the families that we provide public education for. We also recognized Red Dress Day on May 5th, which honored and raised awareness for missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and two-spirited people. We acknowledge the continued reflection on this very important area to have remembrances. Also, in this past month, we've had Moose Hive Campaign Day and its important message of standing together to end violence against women and children while promoting respect, healing, and reconciliation. And it is also Canadian Mental Health Week and the importance of continuing to support mental health and well-being of students, staff, and families while we foster safe and inclusive school communities. I would like to introduce myself. I'm Margaret Warcup. I'm your board chairperson, and we'll introduce our trustees, and then our superintendent will introduce the staff that are here. And I'll go to my left. Karen.
Hi, Karen Yonkman. I'm a trustee from Kitimat.
I'm Ed Harrison, trustee from Furious. Wayne Jones, trustee from Stewart.
Mike, would you like to introduce yourself?
Mike Maxim, Thornhills trustee. Thank you.
And Julia?
Good evening, everyone. Julia Sundell, Hazelton trustee.
Thank you. And we have regrets from Angie Maitland, trustee from Kitimat area. I don't see her on the screen yet, so I'll turn to our superintendent to introduce staff there.
Good afternoon. My name is Tracy McMillan, superintendent for Coast Mountains. And I see Julia Nakars. Julia, would you like to introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Julia Nakars, Director of Instruction Inclusive Education.
And Philip Barron.
Good evening, everyone. Philip Barron, Director of Instruction, Learning Services. Nice to see you all tonight.
Thank you, Philip. And Tina McDonald.
Sorry, good afternoon, Tina McDonald, District Principal of Curriculum Support.
Thank you, Tina. We have regrets from Donna Mortimer, who is our Director for Indigenous Education. And as well, regrets from Lindsay Harder, Executive Assistant to the Board and Superintendent. And Ginger, would you like to introduce yourself?
Good evening. I am Ginger Fuller. I'm the Secretary Treasurer for School District 82.
Thank you, Ginger. And we also have Rob here with us.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Shibley, and I'm the Director of Facility Services for the school district.
And also Shauna.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shauna Wilson, Executive Assistant to the Secretary Treasurer.
And we'd also like to recognize and thank Nate. Nate.
Thank you, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here and I'm glad I can help out on the IT side.
And also we have some staff here, Jocelyn. Jocelyn Drew, principal of Bear Valley School, and Terry.
We also have the CMT co-presidents. Terry, did you want to introduce yourself? Looking for his mute button. Kathy, do you want to go ahead? Well, he's
Sure. So I'm Kathy McIntosh, and I am a CMTF executive member, grades officer, and I'm here on behalf of Jocelyn Bank.
And Terry, are you able, or shall we introduce you? Can't tell from the body language. Yeah, he's on another call. Do you want to introduce him?
Yes. So Terry Marlowe is the co-president of CMTF and also the president of the Kennebunk District Teachers Association.
Great, thank you. Welcome everyone to the meeting. I will call the meeting to order in a moment, but I just would like to remind everybody that at the end of our public meeting, we can have a 10-minute question period for the public to ask questions on the items in the agenda that we're talking about today at this meeting. Or questions can be sent in ahead of time to Lindsay Harder, our executive assistant, and they will come to the board for answers or for administrative staff to assist us. And that means that we will now just announce our next meeting is June 17th, 2026 at 5 p.m. in Terrace. And I will call this meeting to order. We have a quorum. And the first motion that we require is an approval of the agenda. Can I have someone so move that? Wayne? Second. Ed? All in favor of the agenda? Passed. Mike, I can see you. Is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting, which was April 29th, 2026, on pages 2 to 11. Can I have a motion to approve these minutes and receive them? Karen? Second. Julia? Nope. Wayne? Will you second the minutes?
Second, yes.
Okay. All in favor of the minutes? Passed. Thank you. Number 5, the summary of the in-camera meeting, April 29th, 2026, on page 12 to 13. If I can have a motion to receive and approve these minutes. And second. Wayne. All in favor? Thank you. And then the presentation from the Bear Valley Music School for their music was done prior to the start of our meeting, and it was wonderful. Thank you. It's great to hear those voices. Yeah, super cute. Yeah. So we do have a couple of correspondences to receive for information. One is the Ombudsman's quarterly report. It's done every year. It's on pages 14 to 20. If I can find the right page here. Basically, our Ombudsman report was clear. We had one inquiry to the Ombudsman, but no hearings or any actions that the Ombudsman had to take. So we've received that report every year. And so we will receive it. And then we do have a letter. Great, thank you. Of correspondence about the Mount Elizabeth Middle Secondary School Replacement Project. We received the letter that all capital funding was, the school was not in the capital funding for this year. But I received, as your board chairperson, a call from Minister Ma, who reassured me, and we had a good discussion about the school and the urgency of doing something. And Mount Elizabeth Secondary School is on the top of her list as the priority school for replacement whenever she can get the budgets and the people to the ministry and our government to have the funding to move forward with the school. So it was a very encouraging conversation with the minister, and she did reach out to reassure us that she understands the urgency of the need. And she also appreciated how well and how dedicated our staff are to working with the ministry so that we can get our school done. So thank you to your department. If you can share that on, it's very much appreciated. And she did mention that. So we are on the top of the list. As a board, we will continue to push and work with the ministry to make that new school happen. I welcome any questions, but I have 7.1 and 7.2. If I could just have a motion to receive these two letters. Carrie? Wayne? Any questions? Nothing? All in favor? So we'll move to the Superintendent of Schools monthly report, number 8.
Thank you. So May has been an extremely busy month across the district with a number of our schools balancing year-end learning, celebrations, field experiences, and preparations for graduation. One of the highlights this month that I attended was the District Student Voice Summit, where students shared important perspectives about their learning experiences, well-being, and they had really good ideas for strengthening our schools. On page 25, near the beginning of the report, you will see where I had the pleasure of presenting the British Columbia School Superintendents Association Northern Chapter Scholarship to Paige Gareth from Caledonia Secondary School. And her application, she demonstrated exceptional leadership, volunteerism, and commitment to both inclusion, both within her school and the broader community. Also early in the month, myself and Donna Mortimer, our Director for Indigenous Education, were able to meet with Chief Bennett and the members of Kitsilus Council to continue discussions around our shared local education agreement. And that meeting focused on strengthening partnerships and supporting student success through ongoing collaboration and relationship building. I also had the opportunity with Tina McDonald, our district principal, to join the students and staff at Kitwanga Elementary for their Red Dress Day walk and ceremony. And it was a really meaningful day and time and opportunity to focus on learning, reflection, and remembrance, and honoring missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and two-spirited people. The day was also recognized at the board office and in various ways across the district. Also had the opportunity to go to Mount Elizabeth Middle Secondary School to take in a performance of their production, Peter Pan Goes Wrong. Well, I can tell you everything was right about what the kids did. They were excellent, outstanding. This was produced and directed by teacher Rick Jones. There were a number of volunteers, and also students were there honing their technical skills from the AV club. So it was definitely a wonderful experience. And they even had a revolving center set stage with various scenes that were set up. It was really good quality, well done. Also, I had an opportunity to meet with Dr. Bill Owen from UNBC to discuss strengthening partnerships and expanding opportunities for students in post-secondary. We talked about dual credit pathways, teacher education opportunities in the North, and supporting educational assistants who may be interested in entering the teaching profession. Also had the opportunity to watch the student production of Space Pirates Take Off at Upland Elementary. So that was 2 evenings, 2 separate groups of students led by music teacher Robin Howlett. And again, this entire production came together because of students and staff and community members. Next on page 29 and 30, you will see our principals and vice principals across the district came together during the non-instructional day for collaboration, learning, and leadership development. We focused on topics such as compassionate systems leadership, Indigenous education, anti-racism learning, literacy and numeracy, and school growth planning process. We also were fortunate to have Elder Ann McDames provide a welcoming and grounding exercise for us. And you'll also see her featured as she sang and presented the peace song at the BC legislature at the introduction of the Kitsillis Treaty. And then, you know, in all of our workspaces, you have to have fun sometimes. So on page 31, you will see our directors, Donna Mortimer and Philip Barron. Yes, spreading some of their positive energy. Oh, there's Philip on the screen, as we can see, wearing their Montreal Canadian jerseys. So again, it's good to have good spirit in the workplace. On page 32, you will see the Bear Valley students. They celebrate their hydroponic harvest. And this afternoon, myself and trustees, we were treated to a delicious salad from some of that harvest. So thank you very, very much for that. And led by teacher Eric Drew and Indigenous support worker Myra McMillan, lead this student learning project. What a great way to combine like traditional growing knowledge with innovative technology. Page 32, you will see photos of students at Cassie Hall thanking Caledonia Secondary Woodshop students for some new signs in their building. Also looking at Hazelton Secondary, they continue to build strong partnerships pertaining to career exploration and training opportunities. Again, community coming together to enhance these learning experience for high school kids. On page 34, you will see Kitimat City High students. They participated in a 6-week skills trades exploration program focused on hands-on learning and career pathways. They gained practical experience in carpentry, welding, electrical, piping, and masonry. And also you will hear about on the land and cultural connections at Hildella School, where they participated in traditional knowledge, learning more about Haisla language and culture, and focusing on local plants. They were harvesting and even created cottonwood oil while learning about environmental stewardship. And then on page 35, congratulations to the middle school band. So they represented the district at the Conbrio Music Festival in Sun Peaks under the direction of instructor Robert Clark. And they earned silver and the jazz band earned bronze. Excellent way to develop, again, teamwork, confidence, and those music skills. Good news from Thornhill Elementary School is featured on page 36. And the community, they broke ground on a new outdoor learning trail, which will enhance their environmental learning experiences. And the school community also organized a successful fundraiser to raise money for supplies for next school year, led by Deborah Bailey. And page 37, the NTech Center, they traveled here to host a hands-on maker day and trades for students from kindergarten to grade 12. And students were able to explore carpentry, electrical, plumbing, and sheet metal while learning about future careers in the skilled trades. And then on page 37, the skills were also available to Kitimat City High students, and they continue to develop their practical skills through the Trade Sampler Program. And also NTech staff partnered with the Kitimat Valley Institute, and during their Trades Information Day, helped students explore apprenticeship opportunities. And finally, page 38, you will see some highlights from the District Student Voice Summit, where a number of our directors, district staff, including myself and our board chair, Margaret Workup, were able to participate that day and really heard genuine feedback, really impressed by the thought that went into those conversations and the feedback to create safe, inclusive, and enhanced learning environments. And that initiative was under the direction of Philip Barron. So thank you, Philip. And also at the end of the report, as always, we like to celebrate our successes, but we also recognize the ongoing areas of growth our district continues to work through. So these updates hopefully provide some more context and reflection as we continue our journey forward in support of students, staff, families, and communities. And in this section, as our board chair previously referenced, you will hear the encouraging news and information about Mount Elizabeth Middle Secondary School as the district capital priority, and other areas such as the inclusive education audit conducted by the Ministry of Education and Childcare, which we will be waiting for the results for that. And I would just like to say a huge thank you to Julia Nakars, as well as all of our learning support teachers across the district. It was an intense 2 months of preparation for that, a lot of work, and we look forward to our debrief meetings where we will come together as a team and again, look at those results to move forward in a good way. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Do trustees have any questions for the superintendent, or can I have a motion to receive the report? Any questions? Oh, Ed and Karen, so moved, received. All in favor?
Leave trustee.
Mike, who has this? Oh, Julia, go ahead. No, you're okay. And Mike, were you trying to ask a question of the superintendent?
I was.
Okay, go
I'm
ahead,
not-
sorry.
I'm not entire recruitment and the retention. There's always something about recruitment, but we don't know anything about retention. Do we continue to have do we have like 100% teachers leaving us as soon as their retirement date becomes available?
No. So we have a number of teachers across the district who continue to work well beyond their retirement date. And I can attest to that because I sign off and often attend celebratory recognition ceremonies at schools where we have teachers in the district who have worked here 40 years plus, 30 years. It's incredible, the dedication of the staff throughout Coast Mountains District.
Well, that's exactly the type of thing that I'd like to hear.
So the reason it was just focusing on recruitment for this month is because that's our key focus at this time of the year. However, next month I can include more information about the retention because there will be a number of recognition ceremonies throughout the schools. We also have a number of mentorship programs for teachers. We have partnerships and programs and succession planning for vice principals who are looking to move into principal positions. So there's a number of ways that school administrators, schools acknowledge and appreciate staff. So that's always ongoing and important, Mike, but just for this report, it was the recruitment piece.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on then to the Indigenous Education Report presented by our superintendent on pages 24 to 42.
Thank you. So again, this report highlights this month's progress in strengthening cultural identity, student belonging, community partnerships across Coast Mountains. And we are very grateful for the support of Indigenous support workers, elders, educators, and community partners who continue to walk alongside our students every day. On page 46, you'll see some photos and a bit more information about the meeting that we had with the Kitsillis First Nation in building strong relationships to enhance learning for students. On page 48 is highlighted Caledonia Secondary School participated in land-based learning, cedar weaving, beading, medicine walks, and cultural activities with a variety of artists that help to strengthen identity, wellness, and leadership. On page 51, highlighted are the students at Kitwanga Elementary, and they are learning more about foreign line art, rattle making, and traditional vest sewing, and Gitxsan songs and dance hands-on learning with elders and knowledge keepers. Page 56, students at Kitimat City High honored Red Dress Day through student leadership, reflection, and awareness. So the students themselves created meaningful spaces for learning, remembrance, and community connection. In Bear Valley, students participated in paddle painting projects inspired by Indigenous art and culture. And again, these projects help support creativity, artistic confidence, and hands-on cultural learning. At Hazelton Secondary, the Elder in Residence program continues to support students through storytelling, drum making, Indigenous wellness teachings, and cultural art activities. And on page 59, you will see the list of Indigenous targeted funding projects. And on page 60, you will find out more about the Elder and Knowledge Holder Role Model Program and those individuals involved in those programs. And we always appreciate the teachings from local elders and knowledge holders as they pass on information from the past in the present to help support the learning in the future. Thank you.
That's the Indigenous Education Report that we received for information. Any questions, or I'll call for a motion to receive? Yeah, I see no questions. Would someone so move that we receive the report? Karen? Second? Julia? Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. We now move on to the Indigenous Education Council. It would be a verbal report, but do we have anybody? I don't see anybody. So we'll move forward then to the Business Committee. If they do come on, we'll adjust the agenda and make it happen. If I can move on to Trustee Harrison to take over with the business meetings.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to present first the minutes of the Business Committee meeting on May the 13th, 2026. And the recommendation is that the minutes of the Business Committee meeting held May the 13th, 2026 be received for information.
And so moves. Can I have a seconder, please? Wayne, all in favor of receipt of the minutes? Pass. Thank you.
Okay, the next item is number 11.1.2, and that's on page 64. It's the quarterly financial statements, March the 31st, 2026. In accordance to the budget monitoring and reporting guidelines proposed by the Financial Health Working Group for school districts in BC, all school districts must provide the Board of Education or the committee of the board with a minimum quarterly financial report, which indicates forecasted results compared with the actual budget, and offer a discussion and analysis as necessary to fully communicate financial performance and key risks. Quarterly results and projections to June the 30th should be provided at the September 30th, December 31st, and March 31st of each year. This will allow the board to monitor the school district's financial position throughout the year on an ongoing basis and the expected year-end position. Attached for the board's consideration is the quarterly financial statements as of March 31st, 2026 for Coast Mountain School District. The Business Committee reviewed the quarterly financial statements at its meeting held on May the 13th, 2026, and brings forward to the board for information. The recommendation is that the board receive for information the quarterly financial statements as of March the 31st, 2026.
I can have a seconder for Ed's motion. Julia, any questions? On the financial statements, I don't see any questions, so can I have a motion that, or can I have approval of the motion? All in favor? Passed.
The next item is number 11.1.3, and that's on page
69.
69. Reference the attached interim operating grants overview following the February 2026 enrollment count for the 2025-26 school year for Coast Mountain School District as received from the Ministry of Education and Child Care's Funding and Allocation Branch. An updated 2025-2026 Ministry Operating Grant Summary for Coast Mountain School District 82 is also provided, reflecting the changes based on the adjusted funding allocations. The Business Committee reviewed the February 2026 adjusted funding allocation at its meeting held on May the 13th, 2026, and brings forward to the board for information. The recommended action is that the board receive for information the Ministry of Education and Child Care adjusted funding allocations for February 2026.
Ed so moves. Can I have a seconder for receipt of the report? Erin, any questions for Ed or Ginger? The changes? Seeing none, can I have approval? All in favor? Thank you, passed.
The next item is number 11.1.4, and it's the new policy 1120, response to unexpected health emergencies, final reading. Policy 1120, response to unsuspected health emergencies, was presented for the first reading at the February 25th, 2026 regular board meeting. The purpose of this policy is to establish board direction respecting the district's response to unexpected health emergencies and to ensure compliance with current provincial legislation and ministerial orders, including requirements related to the accessibility of automated external defibrillators, AEDs, and naloxone kits in schools. The policy has now been brought forward for final reading and adoption. The recommended action is that policy number 1120, response to unexpected health emergencies, be adopted.
So moved by Ed. May I have a seconder, please? Wayne? Any questions? Mike, are you raising your hand? It's hard to tell. No. All in favor? Thank you.
And item number 11.1.5, expenditures of Indigenous education targeted with funding policy 3040. The Indigenous Education Council, IEC, has approved the purchase of a passenger bus to support Indigenous education programs and student transportation initiatives in the Hazelton area utilizing Indigenous education targeted funding 1.31 funding. The proposed purchase exceeds the expenditure thresholds established under Board Policy 3040 and therefore requires board approval. Due to the limited purchasing availability and vehicle supply constraints, administration is recommending proceeding without a public bid process in accordance with the revisions of policy 3040. The estimated purchase price is $305,320.96. The recommended action is that the board acknowledge and endorse the expenditure of Indigenous education targeted funding for the purchase of a passenger bus for the Hazelton area with an estimated purchase cost of $305,320.96 in accordance with board policy 3040.
So moved by Ed. Is there a seconder? Karen? Any questions? Mike, go ahead.
How much does it exceed the expenditure threshold established under board policy by?
Ginger, are you able to answer that, or do we need to get back to Mike?
No, I can answer it. I'm just gonna grab my policy book here in front of me, so I have it. So we have another number of thresholds in our purchasing and bidding policy. Purchases, all purchases of $75,001 or greater are supposed to be submitted to public tender process, but because of limited resources for accessing this kind of vehicle, we have in this motion forgoed that. And we do that quite often with these types of bus purchases because there's only, most of the time there may be one or two, but depending on timing, the two places that we would go to, one usually doesn't have anything in stock. So therefore, and so it says all purchases of $250,000 or greater shall be subject to prior board approval. And that prior board approval can come in the way we've done it here as a motion for a new purchase, or it can also get board approval if it's included in the budget, the annual or amended budget of that year. Does that answer your question, Mike?
Yes, I have another. Is this
Okay.
a new vehicle purchase?
This is a new vehicle that's being purchased.
I see. Okay. I thank you for answering my questions.
No problem. And you can also find the policy with all our other policies under the board tab on our website.
Yeah.
Okay, if I could call the vote, all in favor? Passed. Thank you for the business committee report. I think we've covered everything there, and we can move to Karen with the education committee report.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to present meeting agenda item 11.2.1. It's the meeting minutes of the education committee meeting, which was held May 13th, 2026. The minutes are attached. You can find them. I can't see on the
Page 75 to 80.
75 to 80, pardon me. All right, so recommended action is that the minutes of the education committee meeting held May 13th, 2026 be received for information.
Karen so moves. The seconder for receipt of the minutes, please. Oh, Ed beat you to it, I think. Yeah. All in favor of receipt? Passed. Thank you. Okay, 12.1, pages 81. Let me get there. Who's presenting that? Okay, the superintendent will present.
Great, thank you. So the Board of Education has received correspondence dated May 22nd, 2026 from parents, guardians of students attending Kitwanga Elementary School requesting permission to establish a Parent Advisory Council, PAC, for the school. In accordance with the School Act and Board Policy 5050, Parent Advisory Councils, a PAC may be established at a school where parent guardians wish to organize in support of students, schools, and educational programs. The correspondence received outlines the intent to establish a PAC to support parental involvement, communication between home and school, and student success within the school community. The correspondence further notes that interested parents and guardians intend to hold an inaugural meeting, develop a constitution and bylaws, elect executive members, and operate in accordance with the School Act and applicable board policies and procedures. As there is currently no active Parent Advisory Council established at Kitwanga Elementary School, board approval is being sought to formally establish the PAC. The recommended action is that the Board of Education approve the establishment of the Kitwanga Elementary School Parent Advisory Council as requested in the correspondence dated May 22nd, 2026. Thank you.
Can I have a trustee so move this motion? Ed? Seconder? Julia? Any questions to the superintendent on the request? No, Julia, go ahead.
I'm just wondering how, if approved, which I will agree to approve, does this PAC or these group of parents get connected with DPAC? How does that all fold out? Is that our role as well as to connect the two together?
We can ensure that there is a connection. So they would work with the school principal, and we can ensure that the executive assistant provides this information to DPAC.
Awesome. Thank you.
All in favor? Pass. Thank you. We now move on to 13.1. My board chair report is attached. I submit it for information. I've already shared, and the superintendent shared as well, that I did have the conversation with the Honorable Bronwyn Ma in terms of Mount Elizabeth and just what's happening in Terrace. I also emphasize some of the aging infrastructure we have in all of our schools and that we do have needs beyond Mount Elizabeth as well. We also discussed Kitimat, because I know Kitimat quite well, that there's other aging infrastructure in Kitimat, such as the Child Development Center and things like that. And is there any way that all of these needs for the community could be met infrastructure wise? I attended Student Voice Day. It was an amazing sharing by students of what they felt we could do in education for themselves. And I just pointed out a couple of the things that they addressed in terms of racism and microaggressions. There were some strong worries about how we address those social things that are happening in our schools and in our society. And they stressed the importance of clubs and sports and arts opportunities. And then the other stress was access to food and food security. It was certainly on their minds. And so I look forward to the report coming to the full board of all kinds of ideas as to how we can continue to have quality, safe schools. So thank you for our staff that have pulled together Student Voice and giving us the opportunity to hear how we can have safe schools that are having student success. And I also had great fun on Maker Day, and I appreciate how our community members in all the communities, I attended Terrace's Maker Day, support our students by coming and doing the all-day demos and introducing the students to different trades and ways that they may want to work at. Yeah, that way. So I submit my report respectfully for just receipt of the report. Can I have a seconder for that? Julia, did your hand go up? Thank you. All in favor of receipt? Great, thank you, passed. Provincial delegate report. Council reports. Nothing from Nothing at this time. Anything from Karen?
No.
No. Okay, so any trustee reports? 13.3. Anybody wish to share anything that's happening? I don't see anything. Mike, your hand is up. Your picture gets the light flashing on it, so it's hard to see you. Thank you. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I'm actually working on a plan. It will involve coordination with other levels of government throughout province. But it seems to me that it's so, like I said many times before, it's much easier to create strong, healthy children than it is to fix broken adults. And it seems to me that the correct way to approach that entire societal problem is by splitting the deck in half. If we can provide an initiative to our students as they come out of school, an initiative that would be a motivation to children as they enter the school system and approach that graduation opportunity, and then have it attractive enough that parents and grandparents and whatnot can see that opportunity that becomes available to the graduating students. Then we get both the parent involvement in their students doing well through the school process, as well as the benefit to the family from having their students coming out of school having an opportunity to prosper. And I'm working on that concept, and of course I'll reveal more about that idea and how it's going in the future.
Hey, thank you for your report on that way. Any other trustees that wish to report? I don't see anything. Any questions from our audience or our people?
Not tonight.
Not tonight. I see no questions. Any questions on the screen? Terry, now you're off your other phone call. Do you have a question for us?
Sorry about that.
No,
real questions, but thank you, Chair. I appreciate your comments from your report about talking to Minister Ma. Hopefully she takes it to heart, the comments of still being a priority for us in terms of the school. And then obviously the lodge as well, the dementia cottage, which is certainly held up somewhat with Housing BC and others right now. So that's great to hear, and we'll try and, as you will, keep her toes to the fire as we go forward in September and earlier. Thanks.
you're welcome. Yeah, it was a good conversation. We had a good chat about the economy and the challenges in many communities, and how we can do the best that we can to meet Kim Matt's needs.
Thank you.
Any other last comments or questions? If not, we can have a motion for it. Oh, there is a CY. Who's CY? Is a hand up?
Syra.
Sorry.
Syra?
Yeah. Sorry.
Syra?
Hi there. Yeah, it's Syra Young. Sorry about my camera. Thank you for everything, all the work that the staff and trustees are doing. I did send a series of questions. They're mostly administrative so I'll just watch for those via email if that works for you. I did have a question about the superintendent report on page 18 of that report, or 42 of the agenda. There was a donation from LNG Canada, and I'm just wondering if you can share how much that was.
I will ask the superintendent. She's looking at her report right now. She may have to get back to that with that. Do you know it right there?
Is that for literacy? Or numeracy? Which one?
I think for the numeracy. For the numeracy.
The numeracy was, I sort of have that information. Ginger, I'll rely on you for the specifics.
Unfortunately, I think that's one we'll have to add the answer to Syra's questions because I don't have it off the top of my head tonight either.
And that's public information, correct?
Oh, of course it is, yes.
Okay, so I believe it was 30, 30 and 30. 30,000 for the next, 30,000 each in the next 3 years for a total of 90,000. Philip, can you confirm that?
So this is the numeracy funding from LNG.
Yes.
It's 90 for each of the next 3 years, 90, 90, 90.
Oh, there we go, even better. 90, 90, 90. Thank you.
Oh, hold
Great,
on.
we'll get your questions answered back to you. Thank you for submitting them. Mike, you've got your hand up again.
Yes, I do. Yeah. Now it's very generous of the LNG people to be donating this money. Are they making requests for reports and commitment from us? What do we provide them for this generous?
So
gift?
there is a report for how the money is spent. They do not dictate the specifics. So just the allocations for it. So that's determined by the school district because the school district and the teachers are the educators for that. And I'll have Ginger provide more information about that.
Yeah, so thank you. We put a proposal in for the grant. Phil did that work. And so it outlines why we're asking for the funding and how we plan to use the funding. And as with previous grants that we've received from LNG Canada, we usually provide a financial and a written report to them on an annual basis if it's a multiple year funding grant funding agreement. And so there's written and financial information provided to them. It's basically the same standard of reporting we would do with any kind of special grants that we receive to show that we've followed the outline of what we submitted for the request and just an overview of the overall funding, how it was spent, and if it was all spent in 1 year or if there would be carryover into a next year or not. And that's basically all we provide to them as follow-up.
So is that the report that you provide to the LNG people, is that public information?
I don't see why it wouldn't. If someone asked for it, I'm sure they could have a copy of it. The financial portion of it is in the financial statements, the annual audited financial statements. So that portion of the report is already reported publicly.
It would seem that communications with the LNG people of that nature might be in the communications area of our agenda.
Oh, we can consider that comment, Mike. I don't have an answer for you right now.
Thank you.
Other thoughts or comments? If not, can I have a motion to adjourn? So moved. Yes, we're adjourned.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good evening.